Imagine if our children get the importance of environmental sustainability. What if we were responsible for causing a significant difference? What would our children thank us for the choices we make today? How can we ensure that a good cause would not fade into the haze of time? The Building and Construction Authority has been committed to spur the industry to develop a sustainable built environment for the future generation.
Our vision is to provide the best built environment for Singapore. To do that, we need to make sure that our built environment is sustainable. So our target is to green 80% of all our buildings by 2030. This building takes up 1/3 of our electricity consumption. So it is very important for us to make sure that our buildings are green and energy efficient. So in 2005, we rolled out our Green Mark scheme to assess the environmental sustainability of our buildings.
Green building master plans are a key component to achieve Singapore's target to green at least 80% of the buildings by 2030. The Singapore government first launched the BCA Green Mark scheme in 2005. This green building rating system is developed to promote environmental sustainability in buildings. The first green building master plan by BCA was unveiled in 2006 with 4 main initiatives: to spur the private sector, to impose minimum standards for buildings, to promote research and development, and to nurture the building industry capability in the areas of design and operation of green buildings. In 2009, a second Green Building Master Plan was formulated into 6 strategic thrusts to focus the green building initiatives for different industry stakeholders. Strategic Thrust 1: the public sector taking the lead. New public sector buildings are to achieve the highest Green Mark accolade. Conditions for buying selected land have increased. Government will take the lead to green all existing public buildings. Strategic Thrust 2: spurring the private sector. Incentive schemes for retrofitting existing buildings to be energy efficient and to encourage environmental sustainable design for buildings. Strategic Thrust 3 is to further the development of green building technology by stepping up developmental and collaborative efforts to build up capabilities and expertise. Strategic Thrust 4 includes building industry capabilities through training and reaching our goal of 20,000 green specialists by 2020. Strategic Thrust 5 is about profiling Singapore and raising awareness through public engagement, competitions, and major events such as International Green Building Conference. To greater push for energy efficiency in existing buildings, a landmark legislation was introduced to mandate minimum environmental sustainability standards for existing buildings. From the second half of 2013, building owners will have 3 requirements to ensure their existing buildings are operating efficiently. This way, we can ensure that Singapore will continue to be a good living environment for ourselves and for future generations.
I believe the new legislation is very timely. From a commercial business point of view, it will recognize us as a sustainable developer and leader in this area. More importantly, from an end-user perspective, I guess the legislation assists us in communicating more about behaviour change at the occupier level. Switching the lights off when you don't need it will get a much more energy efficient building.
It is a good move for the government to start mandating building owners to take stock of the energy consumption in running their businesses. This building information and energy consumption data also serves to remind building owners that action might need to be taken to lower their energy bills. Knowing that I can add value to a building design not only for environmental protection but for the comfort of the occupants motivates me to incorporate these green features into my building design. In fact, these parameters should form part of the drivers of an architect's building design to start.
The annual mandatory submission via Building Energy Submission System or BESS enables BCA to monitor the effectiveness of the energy efficiency measures. Building owners can also use these information to improve their building's energy efficiency. They can also proceed to submit their building information via BESS using their SingPass or the system-assigned login ID. For the first year's submission, building owners will need to provide all the necessary information such as ownership details and type of activity, building data, and service information. Subsequently, for annual submissions, they only need to update the latest data. From these submitted data, BCA can then formulate a reasonable yet achievable national energy benchmark for existing buildings, which will be shared publicly for building owners to proactively improve their building's energy performance. To find out more about the annual mandatory submission, please visit the website at www.bca-bess.gov.sg.
From data gathered through the BESS system, BCA will compile energy performance reports of buildings in the various categories. These reports will also highlight key areas for energy efficiency improvement. Now we will share these reports with building owners. This will enable them to benchmark the performance of their own buildings against others in the category. We hope this will spur the poorer performing buildings into action to improve energy efficiency.
With this landmark legislation, building owners, occupants and users would be able to enjoy the optimal quality of life in Singapore. Our future living environment will be more comfortable, healthier, cost-saving, friendlier and protected for everyone of every age. Reducing the impact of buildings on our environment will always remain a national priority. Let us realize our dream to make this island the best built environment for Singapore, our distinctive global city.
We have done a lot for new buildings. Now our focus is on existing buildings. So it is very important for us to understand the performance of existing buildings. So this BESS system, Building Energy Submission System, help us to track the electricity consumption of our buildings. It's important for us to gather all this information so that we can improve our measures, our initiative going forward to make our buildings even more sustainable and even more energy efficient.